Welcome to this week's episode of Whether or Not. We have Michael with your weekend forecast, nature and news stories featuring the Gatlinburg fire, and a June Arsutis feature taking a break from our great state to help us understand meteorology computer models. Hello, I'm your host, Ann Rodden.
I'm your forecaster, Michael Spagnolo.
Well, we did it. We made it to the Big Ten championship game in Indianapolis.
We did, and I hear you're going to the game.
I am. I waited all night outdoors in the freezing. I think it actually got down to 26 degrees, but I was out there waiting for my tickets to support our Nittany Lions.
I'm a bit jealous. I'll be supporting them here in State College. I do have work this weekend, but I'll be cheering you on and safe travels to Indianapolis. I'll have the forecast for those of you that will be staying here in State College that will be watching the game. There may be a few snowflakes at parts of the Commonwealth this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, well, that'll be interesting. Well, for now, it's time for Nature in the News. The League of American Bicyclists have recognized Penn State University Park Campus with a Silver Bicycle Friendly University Award. With this designation, Penn State is one of more than 150 bicycle-friendly colleges and universities across the country. With the announcement of 51 new and renewing bicycle-friendly universities today from 25 states, Penn State is among a cutting-edge group of colleges and universities across the United States, transforming their campuses and the communities around them. There are now 164 bicycle-friendly universities in 44 states and Washington, D.C. In its fifth year, we've seen the Bicycle-Friendly Universities program momentum continue to grow and reach even more campuses across the country. The League is committed to defining standards and sharing best practices to engage diverse communities and build a voice for change.
The extreme drought in the southeast took a deadly turn Monday night as a ferocious firestorm struck the tourist town of Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Forest fires have been burning in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park over the last couple of weeks due to the unprecedented warmth and lack of rainfall the South has seen this fall. However, ahead of an approaching cold front, which was eventually going to bring much-needed rainfall later in the week, strong southerly winds were gusting upwards of 60 miles per hour. The fires quickly grew out of control as the winds funneled the fire down the valley into the town of Gatlinburg. 14,000 residents and tourists were forced to quickly evacuate, but many found themselves trapped by fallen trees and 20-foot flames crossing the small roads out of the mountains. So far, at least 150 buildings have been damaged and 7 deaths, along with 45 injuries related to the fire, are being reported. Hotspots are still burning, but the recent rains and the dying winds have helped firefighters get control of the blaze.
People have a remarkable ability to remember and recall events from the past, even when those events didn't hold any particular importance at the time they occurred. Now, researchers reporting in the journal Current Biology on November 23rd have evidence that the dogs have that kind of episodic memory too. The study found that dogs can recall a person's complex actions even when they don't expect to have their memory tested. Researchers took advantage of a trick called Do As I Do. Dogs trained to do as I do can watch a person perform an action and then do the action themselves. For example, if their owner jumps in the air then gives the do it command, the dog would jump in the air too. It needed to be shown that dogs remembered what they just saw a person do even when they weren't expecting to be asked or rewarded. Scientists suggest that dogs may provide a good model to study the complexity of episodic-like memory in a natural setting, especially because this species has the evolutionary and developmental advantage to live in human social groups. For all those dog owners out there, your dogs are paying attention and they'll remember.
When the mornings require a winter coat and the frost to be scraped off of the car windshield, do you give the car time to warm up? Mechanical and emission experts in the United Kingdom's Environmental Agency say that spending the extra minutes to let your car warm up is a waste of not only your time, but fuel as well. In older cars manufactured before 1995, the carburetor needs time to warm up in order to ensure that the engine runs properly. But now the carburetor has been replaced with fuel injectors that do not need warming up. If you're using the proper oil for your car in cold weather, even that shouldn't take but a brief few seconds to warm up. And in the end, starting your car and driving at neighborhood speeds seems to be the right way to warm up your car. Not only will the car warm up faster, but the heat will end up working faster as well. After some much needed rainfall this week and some above average temperatures, it'll feel much more like the start of December this weekend than it did earlier on this week. The storm system that brought snow to the Great Plains and severe weather to the southeast is pulling off to the north and east, only going to be directly impacting the far northern parts of New England. But as high pressure begins to build into our south and west, winds will turn out of the west, and with the colder air that will be in place, do expect some lake effect snow showers to be developing, especially across the north central mountains and northwestern parts of the Commonwealth. It will not be a northwest wind, so it'll be harder to get some of that snow into the central and southern parts of Pennsylvania, but cannot rule out a flurry here in State College. Regardless, though, going to be cloudy skies. One of our models, the RPM, quick peek at what it is showing. See the clouds here across central Pennsylvania. There are the snow showers to the north and to the north and west. And then as the moisture comes down off of the mountains, it does begin to dry out as it slopes downwards. So southeastern Pennsylvania, as usual, when we have this sort of setup, we'll see mostly sunny skies. The forecast for on Saturday, still going to have some snow showers around, not going to be as widespread, and that's going to be because the winds will be a bit weaker. As that high pressure gets a bit closer to us on Sunday, it's going to begin to weaken a little bit. High to our north will begin to develop, and it will start to drive down some of that colder air to keep it in place to really prevent us from warming up. It's going to kind of be fighting with a warm front that'll be moving out of the Great Plains. So there could be a sprinkle or a flurry in the Pittsburgh region, but otherwise not going to have any issues here in State College for the upcoming weekend. So 42 degrees on Friday, cloudy with those flurries. Overnight, the temperatures are going to drop to about the freezing mark, 32 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. During the day on Saturday, much of the same story, mostly cloudy skies here in State College, 41 degrees, and then again we'll be dropping. Saturday night will probably be the coldest night. So if you are going out to watch the Big Ten championship game at the bars downtown or at a friend's place, 33 degrees is the temperature we expect for the kickoff time, and then into the overnight hours, temperatures will drop down into the upper 20s. And then on Sunday, 40 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. That's your forecast. Next up is Drew with a feature looking at the latest upgrades to the North American computer models.
This last May, NOAA implemented their newest update to the GFS and NAM models. This update is called the 4D Hybrid NKF VAR, and in order to learn more about it, we'll need to take a small road trip to Maryland.
As you can see, we've made it to NOAA Center for Weather and Climate Prediction here in Maryland, and we're going to now go talk to John Derber and his crew about their new 4D Hybrid NKVAR system.
Unfortunately, NOAA didn't feel comfortable letting a camera into the building, so I will recap what went down with my meeting with John Derber and his colleagues Raul and Andrew. These three have been working on implementing the new hybrid system into global models since 2001. In 2008, they gained NOAA's support and created the first 3D hybrid system in May of 2012. After 4 more years of rigorous testing and computing, NOAA unveiled their new 4D hybrid this May. The new 4D hybrid NKF VAR is an amazing product which has been crafted over the last 15 years with the help of NOAA as well as 20 additional contractors and external groups. So if the 4D hybrid NKF VAR is such an amazing product, what does it even do? Well, first and foremost, there's the 4D and VAR segments. For years, NOAA had been using a 3D model, which represents the 3 spatial dimensions. However, John Derber's team knew that time also played a critical role in weather prediction, so the 4th dimension of time was introduced. This new time dimension receives a constant update on the current weather conditions, and then compares this to what models thought the current conditions would be on previous runs. As well, the VAR segment at the end compares current conditions to events with similar initial conditions that have occurred in the past. From here, a line of best fit is created using the outcomes of these past events, and this line of best fit helps correct current model predictions. NOAA likes using past data as reference because it is found that often past data is much more reliable than present. Present surface observations are surprisingly flawed, and unlike past observations, they haven't had time to be analyzed more thoroughly. The next segment up for discussion is the ENKF segment. This acronym represents the ensemble portion of the model. Ensembles are when models do multiple runs but make several tweaks to the initial conditions each time to create slightly different results from each run. These ensembles are helpful to meteorologists as they are good at showing the range of outcomes, allowing the model to highlight all the possible uncertainties. Finally, we have the newest addition to the model, the hybrid section. The hybrid portion is what combines the evolving 4D VAR data with the ensemble data to create the most accurate estimate currently possible. When I asked how the model is doing so far, they replied, pretty good, we assume. Over the last 3 years, the team has been testing the new model with past data and comparing it to how the old model performed. In this testing, it was found that the new 4D hybrid model undoubtedly performed better than the old 3D hybrid model. Unfortunately, the team has no idea if it has actually been performing better than the old model in real-world situations. John Derber's group has to constantly look towards the future of data assimilation due to the ever-evolving technology in the field of meteorology. As a result, the team doesn't have much time to evaluate how well its update boosts the prediction power of the GFS or NAM. However, it can be assumed that there has been at least some sort of improvement because of the 4D hybrid's results in testing. When asking the team about the next steps, they replied that there was no clear next step. However, 2 things have piqued their interest and they may begin investigating. One of these is finding a way to create accurate cloud measurements in models. Currently, models have a hard time telling exactly how much cloud cover there really is, especially in low cloud environments. This inaccuracy creates a lot of errors and problems in the data assimilation step of their job. Andrew mentioned that clouds and cloud cover are read into models using temperatures from the cloud tops recorded by satellites. If the temperature of the cloud is off by even 1 degree Celsius, the cloud cover estimate could be completely ruined. Their final idea is to create a weather model coupled across the entire globe. Currently, there are separate models for North America, the Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, and so on. These models are run on their own, and then combined once all are finished. However, the data assimilation team at NOAA wants to find a way to combine all models before running them, thus hopefully creating a more accurate model overall. Moving on, it'll be interesting to see what the future holds for NOAA's data assimilation team. Thanks to them, some amazing advancements in weather modeling could be right around the bend.
A quick recap of the forecast for the upcoming weekend. Much of the same story every day, mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures will be into the upper 40s Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with overnight lows dropping to the freezing point. The coldest night will be Saturday night, and if a flurry does make it here from the lakes in State College, it will likely be on Friday. However, I cannot rule it out on Saturday or Sunday. Peaks of sunshine possible during the day, especially the afternoon hours on Sunday. Taking a look at the forecast into next week, a little bit more uncertainty than normal into the long range, particularly the storm system on Thursday. We'll start first with what I do know. Monday into Tuesday, temperatures are going to be still around average for this time of year, which is going to be into the lower 40s during the afternoon and upper 30s. And then as we get towards the middle of the week, we'll have more sunshine. Temperatures will warm up just a little bit. But then as the cold front in the system comes through the later parts of the week, just how strong high pressure to our north will be that I showed you on the graphic for Sunday. If it can drive in some colder air at the surface, we may be talking about mixed precipitation. But at the moment, it looks like it's going to be a rain event in central Pennsylvania on Thursday. But then behind that cold front, another cold shot of air with mostly cloudy skies.
Well, thank you for that forecast, Michael. A couple of flurries would be timely for the month of December.
A few mood flakes possible here in State College. Any accumulations, though, will be far to our north and northwest.
Okay. Well, speaking of winter, we have a whiz quiz question. Early in the show, we asked, what is the shortest day of the year referred to as? A, autumn eclipse, B, winter eclipse, C, summer solstice, or D, winter solstice?
If you picked D, winter solstice, you are correct. The winter solstice marks the day with the longest period of night and the shortest period of daylight, and that is upcoming very soon.
Yes, this discrepancy between the time and the sunlight occurs due to the tilt of the Earth's axis toward or away from the sun. So this year, the winter solstice will actually be on December 21st, 2016 in the northern hemisphere.
So that will be the first day of astronomical winter here in the northern hemisphere. The first day of meteorological winter started on December 1st, which was on Thursday.
Yep. All right. Well, that is all the time we have for this week's episode. I'm your host, Ann Rodden.
I'm your forecaster, Michael Spagnolo. Have a great rest of the weekend, and let's go State.